Welcome to Mental Health Matters podcast with Seamus Corry. This episode includes in-depth discussions on topics surrounding mental health, including experiences with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and feelings of despair. We recognize that these subjects may be sensitive to some of you, our listeners, and we encourage you to take good self-care. Please listen at your own pace and don't hesitate to pause or seek support if needed. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, wherever you might be in the world. Welcome to Mental Health Matters. This podcast is all about real stories about people's mental health and real recovery and their journeys that they've taken. Again, it goes without saying, but listening discretion is advised because some of the subjects that we will speak about today might be triggering for people and might evoke feelings, personal feelings or emotions in you. If you feel you are being triggered, I would ask you to pause the episode, seek some help and support. And links to help and support will be available in the show notes to follow this episode. Thank you to all those who've continued to follow, listen, and support this podcast. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe in the usual places and follow on YouTube and on Spotify. I'm delighted to have with me today a representative from a wonderful organisation who provide much needed support to individuals here in the UK. We are in the middle of a mental health crisis, and I firmly believe that the power of support rests in community and among communities, and nowhere is that better seen with this particular organisation. And I'm delighted to welcome one of the leads and facilitators of Andy's Man's Club in Scotland, Sandy Main. Sandy, good morning and welcome to Mental Health Matters. How are you this morning, my friend?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me on your podcast. Very much appreciated.
No worries, mate. Great to have you on. And thank you for accepting my invitation to come on. I know you're new into post, Sandy, in terms of your lead for Scotland. And please, for those who don't know you, Sandy, and know about Andy's Man's Club, can you share a little bit about who you are and what Andy's Man's Club is all about?
So my name's Sandy. As you said in the start there, I'm one of the new area leads for Scotland. So my patch or my area is West Lothian, Clackmannanshire and Stirlingshire. So at the moment I have 10 clubs I'm looking after.
Okay.
So my role is sort of put into two parts. It's looking after my clubs and my facilitators, making sure they're okay. My other role is to then look at open up new clubs within my areas, to try and help even more men. Myself, I've suffered with mental health. I've tried to take my own life 3 times, which if anybody ever asks, I'm always more than happy to talk about. My journey sort of started back 2 years ago in February. Coming up 3 years, sorry, where I had so much stuff running around my head, just everything. It was always that man thing where you can't talk about your feelings. You just have to man up. It was always that puff your chest out and walk so nobody ever sees that you're hurting inside. And lucky enough for me, it was my ex-partner that found Andy's Man Club after the first time I tried to take my own life. She found it. We done a walk and talk on the Sunday, went round the walk and talk, met some of the guys from Bathgate, and walked through the door for the very first night. Was greeted really, really well. First thing the guy said, "Oh, he's here for Andy's Man Club." I was like, "Aye." So, we'll take you in. My name's Aaron. They took me upstairs, got a coffee, a biscuit, got sat down, had a wee chat with a few of the boys. My first instinct is when I went through the door was to run. The guys are all sitting have a laugh and a joke and that, and I'm like, well, what the actual, what if I walked into here? I just tried to obviously end my life last week, and just guys are having a laugh and a joke about this. I don't think I'm going to stay here for long. Once the meeting started, we went through all the rules, so things we can talk about, or things we can't talk about, sorry. And then I was about the 10th or 11th person to speak that night. And after hearing just some of the guys' story, I was like, all right, this is definitely the place I'm meant to be. And then for there, I've went and helped open up Livingston at Craig's Farm. So I was asked to become a facilitator, became a facilitator, went and opened up Craig's Farm, and I've been there for over a year, helping guys coming through the door, taking meetings, making teas, coffees, just making it feel really, really welcome to any man over the age of 18, looking to get that peer-to-peer support group, that help. And the job came up for the area lead. So I'd actually says to Ari, or Aaron, as I call him, the guy that asked me to become a facilitator, I was like, oh, you know, got to apply for the area lead job, mate. You'd be absolutely amazing at that. I was like, nah, mate, that's no for me. But you'd be good at it. I'm like, how do you mean? Like, is it everything you're doing? So I've done a lot of presentations to my old work. So I worked at Mitsubishi Electric, Livingston. So we were going through they'd started up a mental health thing as well, or mental well-being. So I says, look, you know, I go to Andy's Man Club on a Monday night. I can do the presentations. I would like to bring the presentations into here, try and help some guys. So through all the presentations I've done, I think I'm sitting probably about 600 people. I've done the presentation.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing, Sandy.
And it's always during the presentation, I tell my story, and that's the bit that really people really like. Oh, I never actually realised. I've always in work, I would always say I was always a funny guy, or if somebody's having a bad day, I'd go and have a laugh and a joke with you, just cheer you up. So for that 10, 20, 30 seconds, whatever it is, however long the joke is, or whatever, you're not thinking about what you were thinking about. You're just thinking about that joke was really, really rubbish, eh? Again, you get that wee laugh, and then you walk away. Then maybe an hour later, maybe that's when things start kicking back on, or maybe you're thinking, "Ken, what? With him talking to me, I actually feel a wee bit better."
And you know, Sandy, before we press record, you were saying that you know, atypically we as guys, you know, are supposed to man up, right, and not share our feelings, or not, you know, tell people how we're feeling, and that's almost innately how we've been built, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and Andy's Man's Club tries to buck that trend somehow.
Yeah, so we're just trying to break the stigma
Yeah,
to say that it is okay for men to talk. Guys have feelings as well. We're all know the analogy I always use is if there's me and a lady, we're walking down the street somewhere and we both fall and trip over at the exact same point, everybody will run to make sure the lady's okay.
yeah,
And then because I'm a man, oh no, you'll be all right. Just you'll be able to be all right. You'll carry on. But with the lady, they'll you're all right, right, man. We'll get you an ambulance or whatever it might be. But for a guy, it's always the case. No, you're all right. You're a guy. You'll just get up, dust yourself off, and carry on. Which is, as I say, it's not the best of things. So at Andy's Man Club, you're trying to break that stigma. You say to even younger ones as well that as you're growing up, it is okay to talk. Talk to your friends. We're not wanting at AMC. We're non-judgmental, so we're not there to judge you. Every guy that walks through the door has been through something. If it's to do with mental health, alcohol, drugs, whatever, we're there just to support. And what I might say might help that one man, or what somebody else says in the group might help me. So it's all about just talking and opening up. And another analogy I always use, guys are like a bottle of cola. So if you shake it up, then eventually it will explode. So become AMC, just opening that lid just that little bit, it's just letting that wee bit of pressure out. So then you're no always pent up with emotions or anger or whatever it might be. So just be going on a Monday night, opening up that little bit. You're just letting that wee bit of gas out. So you're no feeling you're trying to hold the full world on your shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I presume, you know, people can expect confidentiality in the club, and whatever is shared at
Yeah,
meetings is kept within the meeting, right?
yeah. So during the rules, one of the things we do say is there's no note taking or no recording. And depending how many guys we have, we sometimes have 2, 3, 4 groups, depending how many guys we have at a club.
Yeah.
So normally we try and go for any more than 15, we'll have 2 groups.
Okay.
So what says in group 1 doesn't go into group 2, and what says in group 2 does not go into group 1. And what says in the meeting stays in the meeting. The
Yeah.
only time the facilitators will go out with the meeting is if we feel like you're a hazard to yourself or someone else. So if everything's all right that way, what stays in the meeting stays in the meeting. We're not going to then go out with the meeting and go and talk to Joe Blog down the street and say, oh, you know X, Y, or Z. They're really having a really, really hard time. That this is what they're going through. We didn't get any of that. But as I say, what stays in a meeting stays in a meeting. Nothing goes out with unless we believe you're a hazard to yourself.
Yeah.
Some of the rules, but we don't, or some of the things we don't talk about, especially in Scotland, is medication.
Yeah.
So what works for you might not work for me.
Yeah.
We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about criminal matters, past or present. You can glance over if you've had a positive meeting with your probationary officer,
Yeah.
or we don't want you going into detail because that could then affect you, or it could jeopardise someone in the group. We also don't talk about football. We don't talk about religion in Scotland. So football and religion sort of go hand in hand in Scotland.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
in Scotland we don't talk about football for other reasons. But right at the start of the meeting, that's what we go through. We go through all these rules so guys know right at the start, at every single meeting, if it's your first meeting or if it's your 100th meeting, you're still going to hear these rules at the start of the meeting. So
Yeah.
you what's going to be happening. We also ask for mobile phones to be put on silent. If you need to take a call, that's absolutely fine. Just go and step outside, take your call, then you can come back in.
Magic. Absolutely magic. So you know, somebody wanted to reach out. How would you do it, Sandy?
So if it depends how you're wanting to reach out. So we've got two. If you want to find out where your closest club is, you can go online to andysmanclub.co.uk.
Mhm.
Up the top right hand side, there's three wee little lines. If you click on that and you scroll down, you'll see find my club or my closest club. You'll click on that link and then you'll just put your email address in. You'll put your postcode in, and then that'll show you where your closest club is. So as I say, for if it's West Lothian, we've got 5 clubs.
Wow.
West Lothian alone. Eh,
Wow.
I believe we're sitting above the 40 mark for Scotland. I think it's about 45 clubs,
That's
and we're
incredible.
open up more before the end of this year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on LinkedIn practically every day, and every day I'm on, you know, I see an update from Andy's Man's
Yeah,
Club. 500 more people attended the meeting for the first time. You know, 3 or 4 more clubs are opening up. So you guys are exploding
yes.
exponentially in the UK at the moment. Why do you think that is, Andy? Why do you think that is, Andy?
I believe it's just me personally. I think it's just guys are now realising that there is a safe place where I can go and speak, and Nobody's got to judge me.
Yeah.
It's a safe place where I can go up and talk to guys and tell them how I'm feeling, instead of me going to tell my partner or my best friends, because guys or myself, I could never ever speak to my ex-partner about how I was feeling. It's always felt like if I'm opening up to her, then that's putting more pressure on her. So as the man of the relationship, it's always, or the way I was always brought up, it's always say, you man up. We don't have feelings, if that makes sense. If we're going out, it's always my place to buy dinner, to do whatever we're going to be doing. So that's my place.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, as I say, we've gone to AMC, we're trying to break that stigma to say, well, you can talk. And what I've found is I can open up more to my friends, to my family, and tell them how my feelings are, just through going to AMC.
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely incredible, and no doubt going to AMC has helped you directly, Sandy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. How can I ask how was the professional support that you might have been? How was your GP? How were local services in terms of
So
support?
I phoned my doctor and got an appointment. We have a local mental health nurse, so
Right.
I'm lucky that way. So I got to speak to my mental health nurse. Spoke to her actually quite a lot in the start. Uh, Tell her everything that had happened. I was putting medication, that was fine. To start with, the medication wasn't working, so I got moved up and moved up. Then eventually it was working. I was like, oh, sorry, that's absolutely perfect. Now I feel like I'm at a stage I don't have to take medication now.
Yeah.
So I don't take medication. I've found other ways of coping with stress and everything else that comes just on a daily basis with life. I've got other coping mechanisms now. So
Yeah.
I'm not always getting stuck in my head and then overthinking things. And then, as I always say, going down the rabbit hole. So one thing happens, and then it's not leading me to, no, this has happened, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and so on and so forth. I've sort of found a way to stop that myself, by if it's just talking to my mum, my stepdad, my two sons, whatever it might be, one of my best friends that's there a couple of doors up for me,
Yeah.
just speaking to one of them, or just speaking to one of my friends online.
Yeah.
Uh, I've found help me. Yet again, that might not help everybody, but for me, I'm at a stage where this is what is helping me now.
Yeah. Yeah, I have sat back, you know, in awe in terms of what Andy's Man's Club is achieving and has achieved, since its formation. Where did the name Andy's Man's Club come from, Sandy? Where did that come
So
from?
Andy's Man Club was all set back, started up in 2016.
Ah,
After a man called Andrew Robertson sadly took his own life. So it was his brother-in-law Luke who started it up. He spoke to his mother-in-law Elaine and says, "I want to start a group for guys like myself to go and talk." So uh, the name originally was Andy Robertson's Coffee Club. That's what Luke came up with. Elaine liked the idea, but not the name. So then they changed it to Andy's Man Club. So this all started back in 2016. The goal was, on the very first night, sorry, the 9 men showed up. So it was Elaine, Luke, and 9 other guys showed up that night. And then from there, we've just grown and grown and grown. So the goal was within 5 years to have 5 clubs. Within 5 years, we had 50 clubs.
yeah.
Now we're 8 years on, we're sitting at 200 plus clubs. I think we're about 210, maybe even more.
Yeah, because you're opening up clubs all over the place at the moment.
Yeah,
It seems to be at the moment, right across the length and breadth of the UK. Is that right? So it's
yeah.
not only confined to Scotland now.
No, so Scotland and England, I'm not sure about Wales and Ireland. I'm not sure about Wales yet in
Mm.
Ireland. Scotland and England were constantly opening up new clubs in different areas just to try and help guys. So our plan is to try and have a club at least 30 minutes away from every man.
Yeah.
And the way we're going, we're going to achieve that goal. We've
Wow.
also got online for guys that are staying in rural areas, so they maybe can't get to a club.
Mm.
So these guys can then go online and do an online session. The exact same rules, nothing changes. The only difference is you're not meeting face to face. You're sitting in the comfort of your own home. You're still answering the exact same questions that every other guy's answering on a Monday night.
Yeah. It's a powerful it's a powerful program, and it just does seem to be working, Sandy. You
Yeah.
know, very, very well.
Yeah, well, on Monday night there, we just hit a new record. Over 5,000, 5,000, I think it was about 5,100 men walking through the door. So when I first started, we were about the 4,000 mark.
Yeah.
Now we're at 5,000. But if you put that perspective, the UK, that's just 5,000 men in Scotland.
Yeah.
That's just literally just all these clubs being in Scotland and every man in Scotland coming to talk.
Yeah.
So really it's a lot and it's brilliant what we're doing. But obviously we're trying to get bigger and bigger. We're
Yeah.
trying to help every man in the UK
Uh,
get that safe space.
and I presume it's free, so
Yeah.
the guys don't have to pay a subscription or.
Nah. So if any man wants to come, they're more than welcome. There is no cost involved. They just show up. All they have to do is show up and walk through the door. Our teas, coffees, biscuits is all free.
Wow.
Even for the online stuff as well. If the guys want to go online, the only thing with online, they have to register. That's just because it's a new link that gets sent out. So a new link is sent out every week for the Monday night. But if guys are wanting to come along, there's no booking, no charges, no referrals necessary. They can just show up and walk through the door and be greeted with guys that have already walked through the door.
Yeah.
Guys know the feeling, how it feels to walk through that door for the very first time. How scared it is to be like, oh no, I'm going to speak to a group of guys here. I've been there myself.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
the struggles.
And Sandy, your own story is absolutely incredible. You know, absolutely incredible. What do you put down your journey to, and where you find yourself? What do you put it down to?
Eh, it's hard for me to say. If
Mm.
the only thing I can say, if it wasn't for my ex-partner, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be speaking to you. So I've got a lot of thanks to give to my ex-partner.
Yeah.
And also the guys at AMC, they give you it's like a brotherhood, and it's a weird thing to say, but it's I class the guys as like a second family to me.
Yeah.
Eh, I'm going through my stuff, they're going through their stuff, but we're always helping each other. So even if it's maybe not on a Monday night, if it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday and you're having a really, really tough day, depending what group you go to, well, there's a closed Facebook group as well. It's just another extension of Monday night.
Yeah.
So then, if you're having that rough day, you can put a message up in the closed Facebook group, which is only for the guys that are attending that club. One of the guys will get back, go, you all right, mate? You want to go for a coffee? Do you want to go for a walk? Go for a chat? And that helps as well. For me, I've been really, really lucky with the guys I've met, and they've helped me through a lot as well.
Oh, amazing.
And
Absolutely amazing.
now I get to sit here, and it's, I'd love to say it's a dream job that I never ever thought I would ever get. I never ever thought this would be my dream job.
Mm.
Getting to help guys open up new clubs, but now I'm here, I'm like, this is my dream job. This is the perfect job for me. I'm so passionate about AMC, happy to go out and do presentations, speak to guys, and if I can help, yet again, if I can help that one man, then I feel like I've done my job. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. If Sandy, if somebody was listening to this today,
Yes.
right, and really struggling,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give them, Sandy?
Talk. Find someone you're comfy with to talk to, and talk. Just open up. That's the best thing I've done, is open up and talk.
Yeah.
Even if it's maybe not one of your friends, if it's a family member, if it's an uncle, if it's a cousin, even if it's your mum, just open up and talk.
Yeah.
Because building all this stuff, keeping all this stuff in, and you can only push it down for so long.
It's like a rubber ball, isn't it? It's just like
Well,
a rubber ball.
what I always say is guys are like pressure cookers, so we can build stuff in for so long they will eventually start to shake. Then eventually you put so much stuff in, you just blow.
Yeah.
So even just letting that wee bit out, like that wee bit of pressure out, helps. What I found on my very first meeting after I'd been into Andy's Man Club, I opened up. When I walked out the door, I felt like the weight of the world had been lifted off my shoulders.
Wow.
Just for talking, and guys just sitting listening to me. No, like, oh no, I don't know about that. These guys, they're all going through their own things. These guys are just listening to me.
Yeah.
So for them just to listen to me and then me to listen to them, some of the things they were coming up was helping me. And what maybe I've said that night's maybe help one of the guys, eh?
Absolutely.
That's what I think.
And that's the whole aim of Andy's Man's Club.
Yes.
Just to help one another, right? Just to support one another, just to listen to one another.
Yeah, just a peer-to-peer support group. That's all we are. None of us are medically trained in mental health or nothing like that. We're all just normal guys, working class guys, or you could be higher up, you could be a business owner, whatever it might be, but we're all just guys at the end of the day, gone through our own struggles, but we're found Andy's Man Club to help us on our journey to try and get us back to where we would like to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is always a powerful thing as well, especially when you start hearing other guys' stories as well. And then it's never ever, oh, his story's worse than mine, because what you're going through is the worst thing you're going through. And what I'm going through might be the worst thing I'm going through. There's none of this, oh, you're worse off than me, because we're all at a stage of our life where we're struggling. So what you're going through and what I'm going through might be two different things, but where we rate that is how bad it is between me and you. So I might say, where my car's broke down, this is the worst day of my life, I can't do what I had to do. But then you might turn and say, well, Ken, that's not really a bad thing for me. That's maybe one of the lower things for you. So we're not going to say, well, he's actually worse off than you, because everybody that comes through the door, and they're telling their story, that they might be at the worst point, whatever it might be. So nobody's got to say, no, that's not that bad. Because to you, that could be the worst thing going.
And like you say, you get that acceptance when you come through the door.
Yes.
You get that warm welcome.
Get the warm welcome. Yeah.
You get the cup of tea or cup of coffee in your hand, and you get to chat, which is for the most best things you can do, I think, when somebody's struggling.
So on a Monday night, we ask 5 questions. So it's actually 6, because you've got question 0 as well. So as I say, it always starts with a facilitator. So it's 2 facilitators, then I'll go to one of the group users. Question 0, your name and a positive reason for coming. So for myself, I would say my name's Sandy. I'm one of the facilitators, or I now get to, if I want to say, I'm the new area lead. I suffer with depression, and then sometimes I'll go into my story. Question 1, how's your week been? So just general, how's your week been? Has your week been good? Has it been bad? So for this week, I would say my week's been really, really good. I've hurt my back, but apart from that, my week's been absolutely amazing. I've been out doing a walk and talk with some of the boys for Andy's Man Club on Sunday. I've got to spend a lot of time with my two sons and going for like that. Question 2, a positive of your week. So yet again, it could be absolutely anything. It could be you've showed up to the club. You've walked through that door for the first time. For me, I've done the walk and talk on Sunday. That was absolutely amazing. I'm getting to come onto this podcast as well. Something else absolutely amazing. Something I never ever thought I'd get to do.
Thank you. I can I say, Sandy, you're really amazing at it. Don't hold back there. You're a natural podcast host, Sandy. Natural.
Question 3 is also a big one. Anything to get off your chest. That is a really, really big one. So what I always say to guys, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to let everything out. See, if you just want to let that one thing out, that's brilliant as well.
Yeah.
Because you're taking that, as I say, that little bit of pressure out.
Yeah.
So you're not holding everything in. So that might be your car's broke down, you and your partner's had a falling out, or something at work's happened, or you've maybe fell out with a family member, or whatever it might be. You don't have to let everything out that time. If you want to just let one little thing out, that's fine. That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
At any point during any of these questions, you can pass the ball. There is no pressure for any man to talk. So at any point during the questions, if you don't want to answer, that's fine. Just pass the ball and just say, "Nah, I'm going to pass on this one."
Yeah.
Nobody's got to pressure you to talk.
You use the talk ball, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's what I always see, or what I find myself, is when I'm talking, I maybe look at the ball and I'll squeeze the ball, and you'll find other guys will squeeze it or maybe pick at it or whatever. It's just there. It's an easier way to open up. So if you are hurting or whatever, you can just really squeeze that ball, let everything out into the ball as you're talking. Question 4 and 5 is more uplifting. So you've just had anything go off your chest. That could be, I've heard some really, really good shares, guys really, really opening up. And then question 4 and 5 is to lift everything back up. So when you're walking out the door, you're walking out with a smile.
Yeah.
You're walking out maybe laughing. Oh, I can't believe Jimmy sitting in the corner there says he loves to sing Barbie Girl in the shower. Or something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yet again, you get that wee bit of a laugh as you're walking out. You've got that smile. But what I always say to guys as well, Monday night you might feel like you're on cloud 9. Then you will get your Tuesday blues. So because you've been sitting up as high, you always come down. So on a Tuesday you might feel really low because you've hit that high. But then it's just a case of working yourself back up. And then when a Monday night comes again, you're back up there. That's also the reason we've got the Facebook groups as well. So if the guys for a Monday night have hit that high and it comes to Wednesday, and then as they're coming down, they're starting to feel really, really low or whatever, because of being as happy and they've opened up, they can message one of the guys as well. And then they can then go for a walk and talk, go for a coffee, or anything like that. So then it's keeping them on the high.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Sandy, thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much
for coming on board. I could speak to you for ages. As I've said already, you're a natural podcast guest. So don't hold back from going on further podcasts, because I think your story is absolutely amazing. I think the work you do is absolutely vital and amazing at the moment in terms of providing that linkage, in terms of support. I think Andy's Man's Club, in terms of an organisation, is phenomenal. And and my understanding is you're doing what you're doing without any money at the moment. So it's completely voluntary. It's it's incredible.
So I'm actually a paid worker now. So a lot of people do fundraising events and things like that. So I'm lucky enough I actually get paid to work for the charity.
Wow.
Yeah, again, something I never ever thought I would ever get the chance to do.
Wow.
I'm lucky enough. I think with the charity, I think we've got about 40 members of staff, paid members of staff now. So if that's for the girls sitting in the office, any emails that come through info, these are the girls that are answering. So if there's clubs needing teas, coffees, biscuits, leaflets, or anything like that. It's these girls that are answering the questions, emailing back. If it's companies wanting presentations, it's these girls that are passing the emails on. If it's for myself or any other area leads, these girls do absolutely amazing work. Or the team in the office, we couldn't do our job if they didn't do their job.
Absolutely, and it's a team effort. It's very much a team effort, right? From
It's
you,
also has to go to the guys that are gone and opening these clubs on a Monday night.
yeah,
They're the biggest guys, eh? I can't give these guys enough applause. These guys are going on a Monday night, opening up clubs, opening up the doors to let guys walk through the door. These guys, they're absolutely amazing. These guys are working themselves, then coming through their work to open a door, to let maybe that one guy come through the door to open up,
yeah.
which is absolutely mind blowing as well. Eh? These guys, they're absolutely amazing as well. And
Incredible.
I personally don't think these guys get enough applause for the work they are doing. These guys are just volunteering. They've started off, they've walked through the door, then they've got themselves to a better place, then they became a facilitator to then give back, to then help that one man that's got to walk through the door, which is absolutely amazing as well.
And when you give, you receive so much more, right?
It's 100%.
Yeah,
You always get, I get that feeling when I was at Livingston. I seen people walk through the door for the very first time, seen them at their lowest, and then you see them now, and they're in a better place.
yeah,
Just seeing that growth is absolutely amazing.
yeah.
It's a good feeling to have inside, knowing maybe it's no something I've says, it's maybe something one of the other guys have says, but knowing they've came through the door and you've seen them at their lowest to them now on a good position is it's absolutely amazing.
Incredible, incredible. Sandy Main, area lead, Andy's Man's Club in Scotland. Thank you ever so much.
Very much.
You've been a true star. You're a true warrior, mate. You're a true fighter. Your story is absolutely amazing. Your work is absolutely amazing, and I wish you well going forward. I hope many more clubs open. Because as I've said already, that support is needed, and I thank you for honouring me this morning by coming on and sharing your own story and
Thank you.
sharing the experience of Andy's Man's Club, and I wish you well for the future.
Thank you very much.